Namaste everyone. Welcome to Hindu Center of Atlanta's weekly spiritual learning program for the adults. Today we are joined with Acharya Brahmadevji from Mauritius. In the context of Guru Poornima and Shravan Maas, Acharya will be talking about why Vedas in human life. Acharya Brahmadevji has an inclusive education background in science, banking, University of Mauritius, Management, ABE UK, in Darshanacharya, Vedic philosophy, Darshan Yog Mahavidyalaya, Gujarat, and a diverse career in financial services, industry, and at Arya Sabha Mauritius. He has been a key resource person for Arya Sabha Mauritius on the universal Vedic values, yoga and meditation, and on interfaith and intercultural dialogue at various national and international forums. The Mauritius Council of Religions, Arya Pratinidhi Sabha America, Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple, and Hindu Center of Atlanta Yoga and Meditation Center in Kami. He is author of numerous insightful articles on Vedic philosophy and contemporary issues in English. Over to Acharyaji.
Namaste, everybody. Welcome. Sit down straight, close the eyes gently to bring the mind to focus. Deep inhale and exhale. And we are going to chant Om 3 times. Gayatri mantra. Om Bhurabhuvah Svah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Join the palms together and gently cover the eyes and open the eyes below the palms. So, welcome everybody. I'm going to proceed with the slide presentation. We celebrated 2 days before the Guru Poornima. And from that context, Guru Poornima marks also the start of the Shravan Maas the next day. Guru Poornima is about the, as we say, the Rishi Parampara, the tradition of learning in India in the Gurukuls, Guru teaching the students, bringing them to be good human beings. But Guru Poornima, the word Guru itself says, remover of darkness, the darkness of ignorance. And Shravan Maas, Shravan, the word itself comes from Shravan, which means listening and also study. What do we study? We study the Vedas. And why the Vedas in human life? This is the topic of today. Shravan Maas is dedicated to the study of the Vedas. Why? Because in India it's monsoon, and during the monsoon activities go to slow down. And when those go to slow down, the sages come out of the forest and the mountains to the villages and towns to seek refuge from the torrential rain. So it's a mutually beneficial situation. They get refuge, and those inhabitants of the towns and cities, they get to learn from the sages. So the Vedas are recognized as the ultimate authority in Vedic philosophy in Hinduism. These are the core scriptures recognized worldwide as the oldest book in the library of mankind. The root word behind Ved is Ved, which means knowledge. And the knowledge is in seminal form. Just like when you have a seed, the seed has the potential to unfold a plant, give you beautiful leaves, flowers, and fruits. It's the same thing. We have to know how to unfold that knowledge. But briefly, to go about it, Ved is Jnanarth. It's the largest repository of knowledge. It's also known as Satarth because the knowledge is factual and is true. Then is Labharth because it's for the well-being, to bring peace and prosperity to the whole world. And Vichararth because when we contemplate on it with the active process of the mind engaged, we get new knowledge out of it. Like the Vedas, the way of interpretation, there's Adhyatmik, the spiritual meaning. Then Adidevik, what relates to nature, the universe, no, that relates to God. Then we have Adibhautik, which relates to the other living beings and the universe itself. Vedas are in Vedic Sanskrit, which is quite different from the Laukic Sanskrit, because to know the Vedas, if we are reading the mantras and to get the correct interpretation, we have to look also on the mantra before and on the mantra after, the chapter which is before and the chapter after, and we go in the sequence of what is the topic that is being dealt in that particular chapter. It's the oldest layer even of Sanskrit literature. And Rig Veda is recognized as the oldest revelation or scriptures of humanity. It was inscribed as intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2008 by UNESCO. The tradition of Vedic chanting, which we know as Shruti Parampara. That was the knowledge handed over from generations to generations in the oral tradition, word to mouth. Let's look at the age of the Vedas. It's initially given to be 1,500 years BC. Archaeological research links it to the Mohenjo-Daro's culture, and that is the Western version. And a later phase of Vedic culture is about 4,000 years BCE, but it's now currently revised age to be somewhere 10,000 years BCE. So if we look into it, it's about 12,000 years old, according to the Western world. But the Hindu calendar, when we read Sankalp part before the prayers, and that is also still going on in the strong Shruti Parampara, word to mouth. It says, Ek Arab 96 crore 8,53,122, which is 1,960,853,122 years since the creation of the human species. So that's the strong Shruti Parampara still continuing. Then the 4 tomes of the Vedas, God-given knowledge to 4 rishis. And at the creation, God had the 4 most elevated souls to go into meditation and reveal the knowledge there. The Rig Veda to Agni Rishi, Yajur Veda to Vayu Rishi, Sam Veda to Aditya Rishi, and Atharva Veda to Angira Rishi. These rishis in the modern definition would be sages, seers, and who delved into the knowledge of the Vedas, unfolding it and make it easy for us to understand. And within the Vedas, when we go there, unfolding the knowledge, the four rishis taught several people, but there was one of them who learned the four Vedas, and that was the first person to learn the four Vedas in toto, as we say, was Brahma. Then the knowledge is about Paravidya and Aparavidya, or else Paramarth Dhyan and Vyavahara Dhyan. Paravidya is about spiritual sciences. Aparavidya is about common life, common knowledge. And both go hand in hand like a pair. The Vedas are also known as Traividya for three topics: Dhyan, Karma, and Upasana. Knowledge, actions, and meditation. And we see the same pattern in the teachings of even the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. And in all of the texts of Hinduism, we can note that same similar pattern: Dhyan, Karma, Upasana. Vedas are also known as Chaturvedya because besides Dhyan, Karma, and Upasana linked to Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharva Veda has a strong framework of logic and science within the hymns. In fact, Ayurveda, architecture, engineering all come from Atharva Veda. So the Vedas also, we have the Upaveda, because when the Rishi unfolded that, they made it easy for people to understand. So they compiled the various branches of knowledge, and we can see in the Upavedas, we have Ayurveda, which is medicine, Dhanurveda, which is military science, Gandharva Veda, which is about music, and Shilp is about mechanics and architecture, engineering. Then we have the Vedanga, also, which is compilation of the various branches of knowledge. We have Shiksha, which is about articulation and pronunciation in languages. Then we have Chand, which is prosody. We have Vyakaran, which is grammar. Nirukta, which is about the etymology or the formation of words, understanding of words. Then we have Jyotish, which is about astronomy, which is science, movement of the planets, etc. Then we have Kalp, which is about the rituals, institutional and ceremonial rituals. Further down the line, you have the Upanishads, which is about spirituality. We have the Darshan Shastras, which is about philosophy. We have the Griha Sutras, which are about rituals, sanskaras. Manusmriti, universal law. And Manu is also worldwide reckoned as the universal lawgiver. He compiled the law from the Vedas. Artha Shastra is economics by Chanakya, also known as Kautilya. And we have the Chanakya Niti, which is about politics, straightforward. It's about ethics in politics. The Vedas also carry a strong universal aspect, as we say, imbibed with strong universalism, advocates strong universalism. One of the concepts is Manurbhava. Rigveda says Manurbhava Daivyam Janam. So Manurbhava is about be human. We are all born as humans. So the question is, why be human? It says be human in gun, karma, sabhav, in character, in actions, and in nature. It says, be human in manasa vacha karmana. Be human in our thoughts, in our words, and in our actions. Another concept is about Krinvanto Vishwa Maryam, which pushes everybody to be noble in thoughts, words, and speech. To be noble in gun, karma, sabhav, character, actions, and nature. Next concept would be mitrasya chakshusha samiksha mahe, which says look at all living and non-living beings as friends. So that is respect all forms of life as well as whatever is there in nature. And if you put the questions today, the world is running on so many things, amongst which food habits have changed. So we are not respecting the other forms of life by the killing of them. And also we are polluting the earth, air, waters, etc. So with the concept of looking at all with friendly eye, we have to review our lifestyles. We have to minimize those wrongdoings which we are doing towards Mother Nature if we want to live really peacefully in this world. Then we have Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which is a straightforward statement saying the world is one family. And that's nearly 2 billion years ago, handed over down to humanity. And we started hearing about globalization some 40 years back. Then we have Sangachadvam Samvadadvam, a call to unity. And unity starts with unity within the self, harmony between our thoughts, our words, and speech. If we get that harmony within ourselves, we can propagate, we can disseminate the concept of unity all around us. Then there's the prayer within the Gayatri mantra, which is also known as Guru mantra. Dhyo yo naha prachodayat. Why it's called the Maha Mantra? Because we are praying to God to inspire us to unfold the potential of our intellect, to bring that to the level of the enlightened mind. The enlightened mind, looking at truth, shunning untruth, looking at virtue and shunning vice, looking at being assertive in our duties and responsibilities, shunning negligence, lethargy. And with such an enlightened mind, we are going to make a bright future for ourselves, our relatives and friends, and for the whole world at large. Then we have the Shanti part about universal peace. Peace within nature, peace within all living beings, and peace among humankind. The next one, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, very, very well known for universal welfare. When we pray for everybody to be happy, to be free from pains and sufferings, to be free from disease, and all be happy, it starts from us to care for ourselves and care for the whole world around us. So these are some of the universal concepts from the Vedas. Now let's look at a few concepts of God. It says God is Sat Chit Anand. Sat, existent, Chit, consciousness, and Anand, all blissful and giver bliss. Just a brief about it. God is all blissful and giver of bliss. How that connotes to our life, relates to our life. If we start simple, putting ourselves to silence and listen to the inner voice before engaging into action, we can still sense the enthusiasm, the motivation when we think about doing good. And when we think about doing bad, we have the feeling, the inner feeling of shame, fear, etc. So it's God leading us to live a life of bliss. Then we have the next concept is about Sarva Vyapak, omnipresent, present everywhere and at all times, which leads to the other characteristic, Sarvajya, that is omniscient, knowledgeable of all the occurrings as and when they occur in this world, with a knowledge about the creation and created the universe, and with the knowledge of the solution to proceed with the dissolution at the end of the lifetime of this universe. By being Sarvajya, God is also Dayalu, all merciful, driving us to be ethical in life. Then God is all just, Nyayakari, as the administrator of the law of karma. For whatever good we do, we'll reap good, and for whatever bad we do, we'll reap badness. That is the law of karma, so simple. Then the Vedas says the main objectives of human life, the four Purusharth: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. In simple words, Dharma is about righteous living. Arth is righteous earnings. Kam is fulfillment of righteous desires. And moksha ultimately is salvation, liberation, mukti, that is breaking from the cycle of birth and death to be within the bliss of God. And strong universal concepts which rishis have delved into the Vedas and brought about. The compilation of Yoga Darshan by Maharishi Patanjali starts with Yama Niyama. We see Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. Non-violence, truth, non-stealing, celibacy, self-control, learning, non-possessiveness, non-accumulation of superfluous thoughts and things. Keep to the essentials. Don't chase around for what is more than enough to live a decent life. And that also allows us to care for others. Then in Niyama, personal discipline, you have Sauch, Santosh, Tapa, and Swadhyay, which is about purity of body, mind, and spirit, about being content, about developing resilience to face adversities, study of the scriptures, and surrender to God, to the laws of nature, to the laws of this universe. If we go according to these concepts, we find these are truly universal concepts, not only for those who know about the Vedic philosophy or who are followers of the Vedic Hindu philosophy, but it's for the whole world. The next one I would take would be the universal human values, compiled by Manu, Maharishi Manu in the Manu Smriti. In very simple words, it says, Dhriti Kshama Damosteyam Shaucham Indriya Nigraha Dhi Vidya Satyam Akrodho Dashakam Dharma Lakshanam. The 10 tenets of Dharma, Dashakam Dharma Lakshanam. It says Dhriti, patience. Kshama is about forgiveness, compassion. Dhamma, fortitude. Asteya, Dhamma is also self-control, self-restraint. Then Asteya, non-stealing. That is, don't take things that don't belong to us without permission. Simple definition. Such purity of body, mind, and spirit. Then Indriya Nigraha, control of senses, self-restraint, self-control. Dhi is about discriminating intellect to be able to make the difference between truth and untruth, virtue and vice, things like that, so that we can sift and develop insight and then acquire right knowledge, Vidya, for humane living, leading a life of real human values. Satya, truth, and Akrodha is about non-anger. So we see we've just gone a brief on the universal aspects of the Vedas. And just to show how these, if we apply them to human life, will be really eligible to be called humane beings or social beings. This is the concept of the Vedas. And thanks to God for having handed over to us the knowledge of the Vedas through the Rishis, and to the Rishis down the line, as Maharishi has put it, from Brahma to Jaimini. And we'll include in that Maharishi and Saraswati for having unfolded the knowledge in the Rig Veda, the Bhashya Bhumika, the Satyarth Prakash, and to Manu for the Manusmriti, and to Maharishi Patanjali for the Yoga Darshan. So thank you. I just hope been able to provide some insight. So if you have any queries, you can just put it to us through email, hindusantavatlanta@gmail.com, or Facebook Messenger @hinducenteratlanta. And for the previous programs, you can also join us and view them on our Facebook page or YouTube channel, Hindu Center of Atlanta. Thank you. Wish you all a nice week ahead. Next time, we'll also look into still the Vedas, but specifics about the Vedas. So thank you, everybody. And if any questions, I can just take them briefly, else we'll move on. Dhananjay, please.
Thank you, Acharya-ji, for explaining the history of the Vedas, how it was developed initially, and how the God has given the knowledge of Vedas through the Rishis, through the different Rishi, Agni Rishi, Vayu Rishi, Aditya Rishi, and Angira Rishi, and different concept of the Vedas. Thank you for explaining in such a beautiful terms. Just for the reminder, we have the program for the kids and young youth every Friday evening at 9 p.m. On Saturday, we have Vedic satsang, weekly satsang every Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. to noon. And on Sunday, spiritual learning for the adults at 9 p.m. on Sunday evening. Hope to see you again in our next programs. At last, we will do a Om Jap and we will conclude.
So sit down straight, one deep inhale, and we'll do the Om Jap while exhaling. And also listen to our own chanting and feel the vibrations as they move within the body and putting us in a state of inner peace. Om.